My name is Vinay. I am from the technology team at Zerodha. It's been a long day. I can see most of you are tired. This will be a short presentation. I presented the same at Hyderabad FOSS and that generated a lot of interest. So I'm kind of presenting the same thing with some updated insights. And yeah. So as you all many are aware from the conversations I had since morning with a bunch of people. Many already know what Zerodha does and how popular it is. So Zerodha is one of the largest brokers, stock brokers in India. And around 20% of stock market transactions that happen in India are facilitated through Zerodha. So we handle quite a large volume of transactions, and Zerodha has largely been very profitable, and for past 3-4 years that has leapfrogged a lot in terms of profitability. And FOSS has played a very pivotal role in this profitability story. Not just FOSS, another important thing that has benefited us is self-hosting all the FOSS. So I'm going to give a small sneak peek as to how we have gained from this journey. So this is a brief, it's a brief list of all the open source software that we self-host. This is not a complete list. So after the previous presentation at Hyderabad FOSS, we got a suggestion that we publish this somewhere. So we have published the entire list at zerodha.tech, our blog, zerodha.tech/stack. Zerodha.tech/stack is it has an up-to-date list and exhaustive list, complete list of all the libraries, all the software that we use from, which are all FOSS. So some softwares from this list I would like to pick up and just give you a brief of how it has helped us in terms of self-hosting. For example, most of the databases that we run are on Postgres, and recently we have started using ClickHouse a lot. So all these is, we run these on AWS vanilla EC2 instances, not using any PaaS like an RDS or other hosted services. Then we have all the databases, MySQL, in-memory database, Redis, and all our servers run Linux, and the desktops, laptops, everything is Linux. And then we use Grafana plus Victoria Metrics for observability, the stack, and then Nomad for orchestration, Kafka for message queues, NATS for message queues. These are all the backend stuff. In terms of applications, our entire support system is run on OS Ticket. OS Ticket is quite an ancient support ticketing software, written in PHP, but it is rock solid. We have been running it for close to 12 years now, and it's been running really well. So that is our support ticket software. We use ERP Next for all our back office operations. I think ERP Next is also quite popular among this community at least. It is based on the Frappe framework. We have most of our internal business applications are written on Frappe, and then we have Airflow for our ETL workloads, task management. We have Listmonk. Listmonk is written by Kailash Nath, our CDO. So we use that to send close to 10 million emails on certain days. Use it for newsletters. Then we have Rundeck for process orchestration, Metabase for analytics, Grafana for visualization. We use Grafana for multiple things, not just for observability of our infra. We also use it to visualize any data, basically any kind of metrics. And then we use Victoria Metrics as a storage for the backend. And other softwares are Discourse. Discourse we use as an internal forum as well as an external forum. So we have a very popular trading community website called Sorry, I forgot the website. Trading Q&A. So tradingqa.com is powered by Discourse. We also have a bunch of many other forums, internal and external. I think even our FOSS United forum, I guess everyone's aware of it, runs on Discourse. We use a software called Haraka for sending emails at very high speeds using very less resources. It's a high performance SMTP. So we use it as an SMTP. And then we use Matomo. Matomo is a Google Analytics self-hosted alternative. So we don't use Google Analytics for anything. We don't actually track anything on our website. Matomo is just for our knowledge base where we do track a bunch of visits and all. Then we use Nextcloud for all our cloud storage, user managed cloud storage, and then Vault Warden for password management. This is a brief this. The reason I am spending time on this list is a lot of people found it very useful last time. So this is our list, but for the exhaustive list you can visit Zerodha. So how much have we saved from all this? That is the big question that everyone asks. I think we cannot really put an accurate number onto how much we have saved. It's definitely, it would be in tens of millions. Why would it be in tens of millions? Because just if you take an example of, so there was a not recently, a couple of years ago, there was a data in news that Coinbase, so Coinbase is a crypto trading platform. Even though we don't do crypto trading or anything, it's a similar domain. They also do exchange transactions and they also source their exchange. So they had in their quarterly filings, they had a Datadog bill. The single Datadog bill was $65 million. So $65 million they were paying just for observability. So that is, if you go into that metrics, you cannot really come up with a sane figure. It will be an insane figure how much money we have saved. So, by the way, another interesting thing is this $65 million, their AWS bill itself was for $40 million. To observe the $40 million infrastructure, they were paying $65 million to Datadog. That is the spiral path that you have the risk of going down if you get stuck into these SaaS products and consume them mindlessly. So it has to be whenever you are consuming a SaaS product, it has to be treated with a very caution. But more than money, we have gained a lot more. So there are a lot of indirect savings. Like for example, in the previous slide I was showing the list of databases that we use. You saw MySQL, you saw Postgres, you saw ClickHouse. It has not, we have not started using them from day one. We have had a migration path where we started off with MySQL, found some issues, then shifted to Postgres, then shifted to ClickHouse. Now we are exploring something else. So this freedom is impossible if you are stuck to some vendor-based, vendor-supported software. Even if it is FOSS, say like an RDS service from AWS or any, you will be stuck with that for quite a long time, and migration would not be that useful. So self-hosted FOSS can be customized, fine-tuned, optimized, and squeezed for performance. So when you are logged into a PaaS provider, only way to gain performance is by paying them more. So in a situation like, even with the MS SQL, in terms of proprietary software, the software is designed in a way that to extract performance from it, you have to pay money. That is the only way. There is no other path as such. So self-hosting FOSS gives you that power to squeeze the last buck out of it with whatever small hardware that you want to use. So that is a major advantage that I can point out. And we have been able to plug in, plug out at our own liberty. We have been not stuck to anything. Today we are using ClickHouse, yesterday we were using Postgres. Tomorrow we are free to use anything else. This is a very huge benefit that we have got. And the other thing that comes with is dealing with large number of external vendors. So there is a cost associated with that as well, not just money. There is a cost of time, there is a cost of human capacity when you're dealing with this. For example, in around 2018, when we were talking to one of our competitors who was 1/5 of our size, in a casual talk they mentioned they have 50 plus vendors. And they were not even able to come up with a list of all the vendors they had. So you can imagine the amount of time and human capacity that goes into maintaining all the vendors. So that is one huge advantage of being able to self-host FOSS. And then, so self-hosting also builds capacity. So Zerodha, over a period of 10-12 years, has formed a character on its own in the way we work. And that would have been greatly different if we are always depending on vendors or always depending on SaaS services to host our software. So the decision to self-host, self-manage has changed the whole mindset of not just the tech team as well as the non-tech team in terms of the decision that they make and everything. For example, say if your whole core process is handled by a SaaS where you're paying, say, per user, then the whole business mindset itself changes where you will think only, oh, if I do this, I'll need so many licenses. If I do that, so the whole mindset itself changes. When you are aware that everything is in your control and you have the liberty to do whatever you wish to do, the whole thought process itself changes, technical as well as non-technical. So that is one major advantage. And then the next is mitigating the risks. So we are in a very highly regulated environment. It's a fintech business, and we go through a lot of regulations and regulatory changes on a daily basis many times. So a regulatory change sometimes would have been to be implemented on that day itself, or would have to be implemented in 1 month, or we say it would be implemented in 6 months. If we had a proprietary system or a vendor-based systems, we would be at their mercy, because the regulator we are only answerable to the regulator, and our hairs will be in their hands, whatever they want they will do, because we have to get it done. So it's a huge advantage when having this power on your side. So that is another advantage of self-hosting FOSS. And then, as I mentioned already, so the culture and the capacity of the work of the employees itself is very different when you are in this mindset. It brings in a lot of strength and positively changes the outlook of the organization itself and helps you do more innovative stuff than getting stuck with these restrictions. And some myths around self-hosting software. So I've seen a lot of people, even young students, starting off with, so if they want a database, they spin up an RDS instance. They don't even go into, I mean, at least they were doing a Docker pull and Docker run, maybe. No, they're not doing that. Docker pull and Docker run itself abstracts a lot of fun stuff you're supposed to learn of installing a database, setting up a database. But it is getting even worse now. I think as a hacker, I think it's a very bad path that you will take. So I would encourage, especially the young crowd, to put some effort into installing software and running it, and then working on it, rather than just working on an API or just using a service. And so there is another notion that, there is this myth that self-hosted FOSS is a maintenance nightmare. It requires too much effort and too much risk. That's why better offload it to some service. I think it is the opposite way. We are an example for that. So we handle like 20% of Indian capital markets with 30-member tech team who do everything from development to testing to DevOps and everything. So it's a mindset, this one. If the mindset changes and we focus on self-hosting, I don't think it's a maintenance nightmare. Most of the software, I think, if you take an example of Postgres database, anyone who has installed, how much maintenance have you been in? How much maintenance effort has it taken for you to run Postgres? You have probably installed and probably go and check once or twice a year when there is a major update to go and update. Apart from that, you don't do anything. You don't really need a service for that. So I think So it's a myth that it's a maintenance hardware, at least for all the stable software that we have out there, like databases and in-memory database like Redis. Redis, how much maintenance have you done? People, nobody, right? So that is one thing that I wanted to stress. And then other thing is that SaaS managed services are cheap. Like you pay per request. I don't have many requests, so it will be cheap. That's the another decision factor people choose to do. But there is a huge hidden cost there. I think in the example of AWS, I think billing is the most complex system in the whole AWS stack. Apart from all the offerings, the billing is the most difficult thing to understand. Like in the case of Coinbase that I said, the Datadog bill of 75 million, if you go to Datadog website and see the pricing page, you can see monitor memory X dollars, for instance, monitor CPU X dollars, and there are thousands of metrics like that that you can monitor. So you'll easily end up with paying a lot more than just self-hosting that. So it's not really cheap SaaS or managed services. And another myth is, I think this is not relevant anymore. Most business use proprietary software. I don't think everyone runs on FOSS, but not everyone runs on self-hosted FOSS. I think that's a huge differentiating factor in terms of actually deriving the monetary or technical benefit from FOSS. So self-hosting has to be prominent. And then comes the debate of managed versus. I don't recommend self-hosting everything, obviously, but maybe start off with basic stuff like databases and everything. We also use public cloud extensively. Most of the stuff that Zerodha runs on AWS, but we use it purely as an infrastructure provider and nothing more than that. We don't use any of the managed services. And I think if you have to do that in bare metal, or if you need the elastic capacity of having more capacity at certain times, it's impossible to, or it's very expensive and difficult to maintain if you do it in a physical data center. So public cloud is a very powerful tool. It has to be utilized, but I think we should limit that to using it like a infra provider and nothing more than that. Otherwise, it's a very risky thing to do. And then the trade-offs have to be carefully evaluated. Just because it's very easy to spin up something, you should not be doing it. You should carefully evaluate what would the usage be, how much would you be paying, do you even require this? And first consider self-hosting as a choice, and then do the evaluation. That is one recommendation. So cost difference is exponentially greater as we scale. For example, if we were to use RDS at Zerodha scale, I think the cost will be 100x. Not 2x, 5x, we have done the calculation. It is 100x replication, backups, everything included. So it's a huge difference. It's not a small difference, and it impacts a lot in your business's profitability as well if you're doing this for a business. And that's it, yeah.